My name is Sally Jacobs. I'm the archivist for the McCormick International Harvester Collection at the Wisconsin Historical Society. Today is June 17th, 2016. I'm here at the Red Power Roundup at the Racine County Fairgrounds. I'm sitting with John Boyens, who has a story that he's been told he needs to come here and deposit. Are you ready, John?
I'm ready.
All right, let's hear it.
It's about a Super C French-built diesel.
All right.
The overall episode starts at a Red Power show down in Missouri at Boonville. A feller from Holland came by. His name was John Hammock. He was looking for parts for gas engines. I had gas engine on display down there. And we got him fixed up. And a few years later, met John again at Red Power Show in Mount Pleasant. Caught up on some projects he was working on and how he came out with the parts I sent him. That was an experience of international shipping for me.
Yeah, I bet. Did you have to do customs? Like, did you have?
Yep, you got to go through customs and all kinds of shipping memorabilia or whatever you want to call it. So
memorabilia. That's a good way to put it.
we got the job done. He got the parts and that. So later on that year, I got a Christmas card saying that him and his wife are going to come over in 2003 for R&V gas engine reunion in Atkinson, Illinois, held by the club I belong to, Antique Engine and Tractor Association. The weather was not very good. So we spent a lot of time in a tent talking and showing each other memorabilia. Yeah. And he happened to have, along with him, the show book, or whatever you want to call it, from the European I-8 show that was in Germany, called the Euro Red Power.
Oh, haven't heard of that.
Well, we got looking at it, it had a centerfold that had big semi-circle of all the tractors that was available at the time of the print. And I noticed that in amongst the C, Super Cs, and 200 series, there was one that had a muffler on the wrong side. Well, John's comment was on that thing was, it's a damn dog diesel. And he says they wouldn't start. They had problems with the transmissions of them because they put French bearings in them. A French bearing for the same size as a domestic bearing had one less ball, but the balls were bigger. So in turn, you had less race holding the ball. And they didn't design the gears good enough to let balls go through when they was transporting from their farmland to their homes.
Oh.
Farmlands are expensive over there that everybody has to build and live in town.
So right, because you wouldn't put a house on the land that you
So there's a lot of road travel. They take and you have to have licenses and that for road travel. Well, bad bearings created a problem.
I bet they did.
Also, the engine in this thing was basically like a Oldsmobile car conversion.
Huh.
They took a gas engine and modified it for diesel.
Wow.
Well, this is also the first episode that International as a company had direct start glow plug engines.
Okay.
Previously, they were all gas, start on gas, and they would switch them over by closing some valves and have your diesel engine, which was pretty reliable, and it was quick starting in that where this wasn't.
Right.
A lot of the stuff on this tractor is direct competition against Ferguson, Ford, and Massey that was dominant over there. Plus, the big item was gasoline was over twice the expense as
That's right.
diesel.
Yep.
So they ended up trying to take and play catch up.
Good way to put it.
The tractors were built in two styles. The row crop in our country is called a vegetable tractor.
Sure. That makes sense.
Standard tractor over there is called a vineyard. So the row crops were less manufactured. We cannot find an amount of tractors actually manufactured, but we did find that they made 1,400 of these engines. And the engines was used on combines, hay balers, forage harvesters, windrowers, and stationary power units. So hadn't heard anything from Mr. Hummock and that, but I got a Christmas card from him in 2004 saying that he needed major surgery.
Oh.
And he thinks he found one, but he didn't know for sure. So took quite a bit of financing and that to get a memorial sent to him, to his wife, because he died on the operating table, or whatever it was. I kind of figured that the whole package had just evaporated. Well, got a letter from one of John's friends, said that he'd noticed the memorial and said if anybody went to that kind of work, felt that he should help out. Well, he was with John the day they seen this engine in tractor in Belgium.
Okay.
So he wanted to know if I was still interested. By letter, wrote back, yeah, we were interested. And we ended up taking, and he contacted the people that had the tractor and come up with a sale price. Well, then to add more to the overall saga, I collect gasoline starting diesel engines of International plus 2 flywheel gas engines, and where I store them at, that feller had retired from Deere Harvester, and he was involved in the purchase of the Lenz company in Germany.
Okay.
He was having items sent back. I don't know if they was his items or his company, the company's item, in containers. So I gave this individual's name in Holland to the fellow that was in charge of filling the containers in Germany.
Mhm.
They ended up converging in Holland. So they were going to put tractor in, and when they went to get it, why, got a call that there was an extra engine laying underneath and wanted to know if I wanted to buy it. And I said, well, sight unseen,
What do you say?
I offered €100 as long as it had the injection pump on it.
Sure. And did it?
9 weeks later, the thing came to our doorstep, opened the container up. There sat the tractor about 2 inches away from the door with the other engine under it. My total expense of shipping and insurance, I insisted on insurance because I had some equipment for a company I worked for from Denmark get shoved off into the ocean on a northeaster store.
Oh, I was picturing like human beings actively pushing it off, like, forget you.
They were on top.
To be safe.
Yeah, to get the load down on the ship. They were stacked on the deck.
Whoa.
I don't know who bought them or whatever, but we got some new machines back later for the company. So I was concerned.
Insurance, yes.
I was concerned about that. Brokerage fees, import fees, total bill, and we didn't know how to divide it other than we just went by poundage.
Oh, okay.
And my cost was around $800 to have it shipped over. So all in all, like I say, it took 8, 9 weeks to get here. Um, there's a few popping up now in the country, but they're coming in through Quebec because Quebec and Mama France had some kind of an agricultural agreement.
That makes
and,
sense. Yeah, French
and
Canada and France. Sure.
Yeah, and they came over and coming in that way. There was 2 all dogs, a 6-foot length combine, a potato digger, 2 bottom walking plow, and my tractor and engine in this one container.
That's what I was gonna say. There was that everything in the container. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we got started toying with this thing.
Yeah.
Found out it was.
All right, because you hadn't seen it, right? This was the sight unseen engine. I get it.
Found out that the engine in the tractor itself had been froze. It broke the 2 inner cylinder walls into the push rod cavity from the cam. And then it shoved up in, got the head between exhaust valve and an intake valve, busted that up. So we went to look for the second engine, took it apart, and the man that, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but the man that did the injection pump figured that that engine came off of a combine or something that ran continually at 1 speed because the wear pattern in the pump was at only 1 speed. But the overall block and that was fine. Out of the 2 engines, took and picked the best crank, best set of rods, piston, and valves. So we ended up looking for parts.
The eternal quest.
Okay, the parts are all listed, but they've got a caption afterward, not for domestic use. Our biggest problem was the rod bearings and the crankshaft bearings.
Oh, because the French bearings that you mentioned
Yeah,
before.
because a standard gas engine that they modified had an 1.7/16 crankshaft main diameter. This thing had an 1.7/8 main crankshaft diameter.
And it matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We was able to find that a Waukesha engine that was in a 55 Oliver had the same inside and outside dimension inserts, but they were longer.
How did you figure that out?
Well, we had a catalog, and they had the
really?
sizes. We had the sizes mine. So we could find 10 under in the Waukesha bearings. So we had our crank turned and polished 10 under. But we were hung out to dry for the mains. Well, a friend of ours that's in John Deere restoring of D models, he had come up with a process of rebabbiting D main bearings with acetylene torch and puddling Babbitt in them. He bought Babbitt rod instead of Babbitt blocks. And he said, well, you make a holder block that'll fit the main bearings, and the front bearing, middle bearing, and rear bearing are all different.
Why not?
Because you got thrust bearing.
Yep.
Thrust bearing is on the back, where domestically they're most certainly in the center. So then you got a seal on the front and a seal on the back. So we took and Mike Williams is the feller's name, and he took and built them up. We took the block and the refurbished bush bearings, took them down to a engine shop, which is Abraham's in Davenport. They put the bearings in and line board the thing.
Okay.
So then while we had it all scattered around, we had it balanced. So right now it was standard supposed to run 1800. I've got it turning around 2000 because of tractor rides. And so as far as other items we needed, we was looking for the road running lights. They're a little projective light that sticks out. And the hardest thing we could never find was the cover for the 3-point hydraulic control levers. This unit has got the European style 3-point on it. So I do magnetos as a hobby that's gone wild.
Oh no, sometimes hobbies do that.
And some or other, through all this work, chattering back and forth, the individual had a John Deere and the magneto was not functioning. So he calls, wanted to know how much it was for fixing his magneto.
Yeah.
He was coming over and going to be over here 7 days. He had friends in Washington State.
Is that enough time?
Oh, yeah. So he says it's going to cost you a cover for the hydraulic levers on a CD.
That's the way you do it. Yes.
So he tractor rides. Other than that, why, it's been a pretty little tractor, and it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's pretty dependable, but heck, I don't try to start it when it's 10 below neither. So, belong to a antique engine tractor club in Geneseo, and it's been out there each year. And we've hit all the Red Power shows since Madison, Wisconsin with it.
People like it.
Yeah, it gets a lot of attention. A lot of people have never seen them.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of the older individuals, boy, I never knew they made anything like that. Well, you got to explain to them it's a foreign machine.
Yep.
There is foreign options on tractors today that we do not have in this country. One thing is an air compressor.
Oh, yeah?
We have troubles with tire inflation when they fold these big equipment up onto the tractor.
Yeah.
Tires just kind of flump, and you don't run down the road on that.
No, you would not want
So it's a hassle.
Yeah.
Where the European tractors have built-in air compressors, power brakes,
Sure.
stuff like that. That I guess you'd say the rule setters in this country haven't been convinced that
it's
should be
right.
available here. And if you buy a foreign tractor, that equipment is removed before it's shipped here.
Really?
So
That's pretty extreme. They really,
pretty
don't want that here.
Pretty touchy.
Yeah, wow.
But I guess that's about the size of this particular episode.
All right.
We'll be working on a Cub Farmall that was built in France, but it's a little gasoline model. It don't have very much difference as of the domestic model. So it's going to be a cute little thing to let grandkids run around.
Oh, definitely.
That's about the size of the
All right. Well, thanks for coming in and sharing that. I really appreciate it.
cock and bull story.
Oh, no. We'll let history decide.
All right,
Shall
you
we?
do that.
We'll let them